It's time to open the book on another session of Teacher Summer Talks. Whether you're sipping lemonade with Samantha, saving the day with Addie, or preparing for the victory dance with Molly, this session is your next chapter. Let's turn the page.
Hi everyone, I'm Shelley Gray from ShelleyGrayTeaching.com. My mission is to help teachers make math fun, meaningful, and relevant so that math class becomes a place where students truly want to be. Today, I want to share some ideas about promoting a thinking culture in your math classroom, a powerful approach that helps students not just do math, but really think mathematically. So what do I mean by a thinking culture? Well, it's a classroom environment where students feel safe and encouraged to explore ideas, ask questions, and even make mistakes without fear or judgment. It's not just about getting the right answer quickly, it's about developing deep understanding and flexible problem-solving skills. Creating a thinking culture doesn't happen overnight, but small changes in how we ask questions, respond to students, and structure our math lessons can have a really big impact. When students see math as something to make sense of, rather than just to get through, they begin to engage with it more deeply. In this talk, I'll discuss 6 different strategies you can implement easily into your math classroom to create a thinking culture. Strategy number 1, communicate that thinking is more important than answers. Often in math, we communicate the message to our students that math is all about getting answers and getting them quickly, even if that's not what we are intending to convey. So consider these 2 scenarios. In scenario number 1, I'm teaching a lesson on multiplication by 6. I pose a question to students, I wait for them to think about it, and then I ask for answers. Students begin by solving 6 times 8. Then they solve 6 times 5. Each time they answer a question correctly, I move on to the next one. In this scenario, I'm reinforcing the idea that the goal is to get answers, since I stop the conversation after a correct answer has been given. Now consider scenario number 2. I pose the same problem, 6 times 8, and I give everyone some thinking time. I ask for an answer, and a student replies, 48. I ask him how he thought about it, and he says, I just knew it. I then ask for other volunteers. One student says, well, I knew that 5 times 8 is 40, so I added another 8 to make 48. Then another student chimes in. I know that 3 times 8 is 24, so I doubled it, and I got 48. As I listen to all these ways of thinking, I record them on the whiteboard to inspire other students, just as I would do in a traditional number talk. This simple act of asking for ways of thinking communicates to students that how we think is more important than simply what the answer is. Strategy number 2, encourage curiosity and reflection about other students' thinking. It can be incredibly valuable to invite students to reflect on what another student has contributed to a conversation or math talk. Let's go back to the 6 times 8 example. Now that 2 students have offered different ways of thinking, I might ask the class to reflect. Why do both these strategies work? Why do you think the student chose that method? Which one do you like best? Which one seems most efficient and why? You're not just asking students to agree or disagree, you're asking them to analyze another student's thinking and engage with someone else's reasoning. This builds both conceptual understanding and productive dialogue. You'll notice that the energy in the room changes when students realize that their thinking matters, not just the answer. It shifts the conversation from, did I get it right, to, I have another idea. Talking about math for thinking rather than for answers is motivating and fun, not to mention low risk for your students that might not normally contribute to discussions in math class. Strategy number 3, use rich open-ended problems. Open-ended problems invite students to engage at different levels, and they spark rich discussion. They help shift the focus away from quick recall and toward deeper mathematical reasoning. A simple way to begin is just by rephrasing how you pose problems. For example, instead of asking, what is 18 plus 6, try, how many ways can you make 24? Or instead of asking students to calculate the area of a 4x9 rectangle, ask, can you draw as many rectangles as possible with an area of 36 square units? These kinds of prompts encourage creative thinking and welcome multiple approaches. Strategy number 4, Normalize struggles and mistakes. It's important for students to understand that struggling in math is how we grow and that mistakes are a natural part of learning. Allow your students to grapple with the task rather than oversimplifying it for them or guiding them toward the way you might solve it before they've had time to explore it themselves. You might say things like, that's interesting. Let's think about it some more. Or, I know how I would solve this, but I'm excited to see how you're going to tackle it. When students see that it's okay to struggle and revise their thinking, they build resilience. One of my favorite ideas from Joe Bowler's Mathematical Mindsets is called favorite mistakes. It's a great way to shift how students see errors. Instead of brushing past mistakes, we pause and we actually highlight them as long as it's okay with the student. And this is not to embarrass anyone, but it's to learn from them. So I might say, this is a great mistake because it shows a common misconception that we can all learn from. And then we go on to analyze that mistake and see why we might make it easily. Another way to support this is by modeling it yourself. You might work through a problem and narrate your own confusion. I thought this would work, but now I'm not so sure. Let's take another look. When students see you grappling and adjusting your thinking, they begin to see productive struggle as part of real math work, not as a sign of failure. When students see that mistakes are not only accepted, but celebrated as learning opportunities, they become more willing to take risks and share their thinking. Strategy number 5, foster collaborative thinking. Collaboration is so important in math class. There are times when we want quiet, independent work, but there are also times when our rooms should be buzzing with collaborative and productive math conversations. If you haven't yet read Peter Liljedahl's Building Thinking Classrooms, it's a fantastic guide to transforming your classroom into a collaborative space. His approach includes using vertical whiteboards and open-ended small group problem solving, a great way to move away from mimicking and toward true thinking. Other activities like Think, Pair, Share or small group math talks can also be effective. Explaining ideas out loud helps students deepen their understanding. Listening to a peer's strategy might give another student a new idea or help clarify their own thinking. Over time, this builds a shared culture of learning. Strategy number 6, and this is one that is so overlooked, give students wait time. After asking a question, pause before calling on someone. This short silence gives all students a chance to process and formulate their thoughts. When we let someone answer immediately, many students lose the opportunity to think at all. Next time, try waiting 20 to 30 seconds before inviting your students to answer. This simple shift ensures that more students engage with the question. Another helpful tip, use a thumbs up signal instead of hands in the air. When hands shoot up, it distracts others and signals a race to be first. But a very subtle thumbs up at chest level allows students to stay focused and gives everyone more time to think. It also creates a quieter, more equitable space for thinking. I encourage you to try just 1 or 2 of these strategies this week. Maybe invite more student questions or try out a rich open-ended problem and see what happens. Also, remember to model your own thinking out loud. Let students hear your problem-solving process. Building a thinking culture takes time, but the rewards are huge. Students become more confident, more curious, and more independent as mathematical thinkers. As you think about your own classroom, consider what messages your students might be picking up, not just from what you say, but from what you emphasize. Are you celebrating strategies and insights? Are you giving time and space to think? These small shifts can make a big difference in how students see themselves as mathematicians in your classroom. Lastly, I would love to help you get started with building a thinking culture in your classroom. If you'd like some free slides sent direct to your inbox that will help stimulate deep thinking, reasoning, and math discussion, head over to my website to this page. So it's shelleygrayteaching.com/math-conversations. Near the end of that article, there's a link to the free slides. I'd also love to invite you over to my Instagram page at Shelley Gray Teaching, where I often share tips and ideas for incorporating deeper thinking into your classroom. Thank you for listening and keep inspiring mathematical thinking.
That session was smooth like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in your Animaniacs lunchbox. Want to snag a scholarship to our Back to School Success course? We're giving away 3. So apply now via the link in the show notes, your inbox, or the group before June 26th.